Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV, coming to you with some breaking weather news. Hurricane Beryl, which a few days ago devastated a couple islands in Grenada, and also about a day ago did some very significant damage in Jamaica. It was supposed to weaken and get down to like a Category 1 before hitting the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, but it has actually re-strengthened, and it is now a major Category 3 hurricane, 115 mile an hour max sustained winds. Yes, that is not a typo. I did not misspeak. It has re-strengthened, and it is a major Category 3 hurricane, and it is supposed to hit Mexico in about 8.5 hours. So that's not good. And there's a chance that after it passes over Mexico and ends up in the Gulf of Mexico, it could actually end up threatening Texas. It's supposed to be a tropical storm by the time it gets to the Gulf of Mexico, but it might strengthen again to a hurricane. We could have a hurricane making a landfall in Texas next week. Next week? What day is it? I don't even remember what day it is. Yeah, I think that would be next week, in a few days. So we want to bring you an update on this situation. Thank you so much to Copper Country Nathan. I appreciate that, Copper Country Nathan. Thank you. Nathan, thank you. You can write to me. I'm going to take some of your comments and questions at Lookner on X. Write to me here. And let's say thanks to our moderators. We have Cynthia Moon. Thanks, Cynthia, for being there. Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X over there on Twitch. We have moderating right now Daily Disclosure, David Green, Good Luck Duck, Sarah, and Papa Bear. And also I want to thank our Facebook moderators. This is the storm. It will not weaken. I mean, it weakens some, but they keep predicting it'll weaken a lot, and it keeps maintaining its strength. Or in this case, re-strengthening. How about that? Margaret Riley is moderating. Thank you, Margaret. Okay, so let's give you the details here. First of all, you can see here from the National Hurricane Center, Major Hurricane Beryl is approaching the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. Hurricane force winds, dangerous storm surge, and damaging waves expected to begin overnight. It is 150 mile an hour max sustained winds. I believe it had definitely gotten down to 110, and 110 is a Cat 2. So it strengthened back up, I think, from 110 to 115. And you might say that's not that much. But the thing is, it's not supposed to be re-strengthening at all. It was supposed to keep weakening. It was supposed to be a Cat 1 by the time it hit Mexico. And this thing keeps maintaining its strength longer than it thought it would. Let's look at, show you where this is. This is the Tropical Tidbits satellite shot of this hurricane. And it's looking a lot more symmetrical than it was a number of hours ago. You can see it's got, it's like kind of round. It's not a big mess. There's dark. So the black and the white and the pink are the coldest cloud tops. That's what you get in a strong hurricane, the cold cloud tops. And you can see that there's like the cold cloud tops surround the circulation. It's not just on one side of it. So it has actually regained some strength, and you can see it is, you're seeing the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. I'll show you on a map where that is, but Cancun is up here. And I think this island is Cozumel, if I have that right. I'm gonna pull it up on Google Maps. So it is supposed to make landfall around in the morning. Definitely by 8 a.m. because I'll show you, but on their forecast track by 8 a.m. it's just about making landfall. So it looks like 7, 8 a.m. from their forecast track. I'll show you the forecast track in a second. But this is the, people are saying that is Cozumel, this island right here. That's Cozumel, and Cancun is up here. And but just crazy that this thing has re-strengthened, and it is supposed to keep its strength. It is supposed to stay a major hurricane until landfall. Wow. Michelle R. says it's still huge. Let's see. I wanted to... Oh, I'm going to show you on a map. I'm just going to show you a map for a second. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull up Google Maps and just so you can see what we're looking at here. One moment here. One moment. Pulling up this map. Okay. Now. Here we go. Hey, Brian Beelman, that's so kind of you. Thanks, Brian Beelman, for your support of the channel. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you, Brian Beelman. Also, thanks to Christine Rizzo for being a member over there on YouTube, and all of our other YouTube members, our Facebook subscribers, and our Twitch subscribers. Thank you. So this is Mexico here, and we're talking about the Yucatan Peninsula, and there's Cancun right there, and there's the island of Cozumel here. And so this is the area we're talking about, right? This peninsula right here. And basically what's going to happen is, I'll show you on the track, but the hurricane's going to cross over here and get into the Gulf of Mexico. And once it gets into here, there's a chance it'll go north to Texas. Now, it's supposed to be a tropical storm by the time it goes over land and weakens over land, but it very well, I believe they have it re-strengthening to a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. So we could see a hurricane in a few days making landfall in Mexico. All right, so I'm going to show you the specifics there. But this is the area we're talking about right here. See, the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, if I go to the radar now, oops, you know what I did? Hold on 1 second. Let me just do this right. There we go. There, hold on. This is from Google Maps. Let me just fix this. Let me fix something for you, for myself, actually. Why is this not behaving? It's not behaving the way I want it to. Let's try this again. Ah, that's better. Was better. Okay, let's go back. So you can see that that's what we were just looking at on the map. That there's the Yucatan Peninsula on the left there, and there's the hurricane approaching the Yucatan Peninsula. The pressure is 964 right now. So let's look at the forecast track for this thing. I'll show you a couple different forecast tracks, actually. First, I'm going to show you the static forecast track. So, what you see there is, there it is now. There's Mexico. It's supposed to make landfall in the morning sometime. And then by tomorrow night, it finishes passing over Mexico, and you can see it says S because it's going to weaken to a tropical storm over land. That's what happens with hurricanes. They feed off the warm water. When they're over land, that weakens them, and it can eventually cause them to just dissipate. Or whatever you say it, break up, dissipate, whatever. End, weaken till it ends, till it's not a hurricane anymore, or a tropical cyclone. But so it's going to emerge as a tropical storm into the Gulf of Mexico. But see, then by Sunday morning, it's re-strengthened to a hurricane again. And then now this is the current forecast track, which has it making landfall just south of Texas. But you can see that cone of uncertainty there. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a bunch of uncertainty about where it's going to go. So I'm going to tell you what they have to say about that. But it's certainly in the realm of possibility for this thing to jog north a little bit and to end up making landfall in Mexico as a hurricane. And if that happened, and landfall in Texas, you can see it would be maybe Monday or Tuesday, Monday maybe, but it just depends on where it goes, you know. A doctor thinks there's no way it doesn't strengthen faster than predicted. That's what doctor thinks. By the way, this weather expert I follow named Tomer Berg, he thinks there's a chance it could actually intensify a bunch in the Gulf of Mexico. He says, Between all the evidence so far, Beryl more resilient than modeled, north jog means less time over land as it passes over Mexico, even more likely to utilize the very high sea surface temperatures and low wind shear environment in the Gulf, I'm struggling to see why Beryl won't quickly, if not outright rapidly, intensify in the Gulf. That's what he thinks. So he thinks in the Gulf of Mexico, this thing could intensify a bunch. We'll have to see what happens. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the interactive map from the National Hurricane Center. It's the interactive forecast track. Let me just do this real quick. We need to do this. There we go. So check this out. So if you click on this, you can see it says right there, that is 8 a.m. Eastern time. And at that point, it says max wind 110, but it's already over land. I'm going to read you their discussion, but they did say they don't expect it to weaken before making landfall. So they think this is going to make landfall as a 150 mile an hour max sustained wind Category 3 hurricane. And sometime shortly before 8 a.m., it looks like Eastern time. Although I don't know what is like the local time there. Cancun time is, it's an hour earlier. So local time, it might be 7 a.m. But that is 8 a.m. right there. That's this coming morning. And then it spends the day traveling across Yucatan Peninsula. By the way, in case you're wondering, it doesn't have to take this exact track, but they have it making landfall near San Pablo. I'm trying to figure it out. So Cozumel is here. This would not be great for Cozumel because Cozumel would be to the right of be in the right front quadrant. We'll check on Google Maps what's in all these places, but maybe about 90 miles south of Cancun. That would be right there, 90 miles southwest of Cancun. Then it's supposed to go here into the Gulf of Mexico as a tropical storm, but they think it's going to, right now, officially, strengthen to a Category 1, but it could strengthen more. And again, there's some variation as to where this is going to go once in here. Actually, maybe I can show you on tropicaltidbits.com. Let's look at the spaghetti diagram. Aha. Right here. Yes, so this is a spaghetti model from tropicaltidbits.com. That's various weather models where they predict the hurricane will go. And look at that. I mean, a bunch of those weather models have it going into Texas. Now, some of it actually have it going further south, right? So we don't know for sure it's going to get to Texas. It very well might not. But a bunch of the models have it making landfall right near the border of Mexico and Texas. But some have it going north. So we'll have to just wait and see where it goes there. But there's some uncertainty there. I'm going to read to you that's on tropicaltidbits.com. You can get that there. I'm going to read to you their forecast discussion. Hey, let me say a quick thanks to Walter Beasley. I really appreciate that, Walter. Thank you. Thank you also, Corinne2721. Very nice of you, Corinne. Thanks to our members and moderator, Cynthia Moon. Thank you. I hope everybody had a good 4th who celebrates the 4th. Hope everybody in Mexico stays safe from this over there in the Yucatan Peninsula. And if you're in the Mexico coast on the Gulf of Mexico or Texas coast, you should be paying attention to what's going on with this thing. It is currently a Cat 3, a major hurricane. A couple of our viewers, like Xylee, have been concerned that it might impact Starbase. Because my brain isn't working, I have to actually look up where in Texas Starbase is. What's the name of the town? Somebody will tell me. I have it pulled up right here. Isn't it Boca Chica? Boca Chica? Oh, it says I'm seeing Brownsville. But I also remember Boca Chica. Are they right next to each other? So there's Starbase SEO. Starbase SEO? Is that what it is? That's not it, is it? Hold on. Starbase Aerospace Company. There's Boca Chica. SpaceX launching strip. All right, that's the SpaceX launch facility right there in Boca Chica. And that is right near the Mexico border. That is the SpaceX launch facility. So that's the launch facility right there. And where is the, I guess, the Starbase in Brownsville? Where is Brownsville? Let me look this up. Let me do directions. Starbase Rocket Road, Brownsville. Oh, that's it. It says Starbase right there. Starbase. Is that it right there? Boca Chica Boulevard. Let's put a little guy down there and see. Is this Starbase facility? Stargate? Aiden says yes. People are saying it's yes. People in the chat. So, anyways, the point is that the SpaceX launch facility and some sort of Starbase production site, it says, those are both right on the coast, basically. The launch facility really is on the coast, and the other thing is just a little bit inland. And those certainly could be where a hurricane might hit. I mean, it might not be, but that is a place that's possible. Right? Because that's right where right just north of the Mexico border. I mean, it really is about 2 miles north of the border with Mexico. And if you look at this, as I just showed you, the Tropical Tidbits model track guidance, a bunch of the weather models have that hurricane going right where Mexico meets Texas. Now, again, it's supposed to weaken to a tropical storm once it passes over Mexico and then strengthen again in the Gulf. Some people said South Padre Island as well, which is, here, South Padre Island. And one of the viewers said a lot of people would be vacationing there right now. There's South Padre Island right on the coast there, right just north of Boca Chica. Okay, so yeah, I think there was it today? I don't want to get into this now, but I believe was it South Padre Island where like a shark attacked like 4 different people or something. I'm not going to talk about it right now because that's not what we're talking about. Yes, a shark attacks 4 beachgoers on South Padre Island. I'm seeing articles right there. So I'm sorry that they got attacked, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. Okay, so let's get back to to where this is going. And let's talk about what the forecast is. So, around 8 a.m. Eastern time, it's supposed to make landfall here in Yucatan Peninsula as a major Cat 3 hurricane. It weakens to a tropical storm. It pops out into the Gulf of Mexico. Eventually, it strengthens back into a hurricane. They say Cat 1. Could it strengthen more? We'll have to see. Right now, the current prediction is to make landfall just south of the Texas border with Mexico, but that could change as well. So let's look at their discussion. This is important. This is where they talk about their forecast. But this thing has re-strengthened. It had gotten down to 110. It was supposed to keep getting weaker to a Cat 1 before hitting Mexico. Now it's back up to Cat 3. Okay. Saku Stars says, my friend is in Yucatan, hope she's okay. Okay, let's read what the National Hurricane Center has to say about this storm. The weakening trend of Beryl, hang on. The weakening trend of Beryl has reversed this evening. Again, that is not a typo. The weakening trend of Hurricane Beryl has reversed this evening. Satellite images show the eye has occasionally been evident, and the eye wall is about 2/3 closed based on Cancún radar images and reports from the Air Force hurricane hunters. Data from the Reconnaissance mission indicated that Beryl has strengthened back to a dangerous Category 3 hurricane with maximum winds of about 100 knots. Again, Beryl has strengthened back to a dangerous Category 3 hurricane. The minimum pressure has fallen. Can you believe this? The minimum pressure has fallen about 10 millibars from this afternoon to 964. What was it this afternoon? Like 974? I can look it up. Pressure 974. The pressure was 974. So it actually went down. Wow. That means it's getting stronger. The pressure earlier today was 974. Now it's 964. Crazy. The aircraft also indicated that Beryl remains compact and it is actually a little smaller than previously estimated. Wow. Okay, so before I get to the rest of this, what was it? I was going to show you something else. Oh, I do have a radar to show you before I get to the rest of that. Hang on, let me show you that radar. Maybe a couple radars. So here's the radar from Cuba. It's kind of tough to see. But that's the radar from Cuba, but you can kind of see a lot of the rain. You can see a lot of the rain, but you're not getting the bottom half. So, but that's the location. That's a radar location. I looked for a Mexico radar before. I couldn't find a Cancun. Well, I found one, but it wasn't. I don't think it was the Cancun one. All right, that's that one. I mean, one I can use. I know there's other radars out there, but I had the one from like the government. I can't just steal lots of radars. I know there's other ones floating around. Let me show you the one from the Mexican government. If this opens. Right. So we want to go here. There? Oh, I got it. Radar Cancun. What do you know? I found it. There it is. There's Radar Cancun. Look, guys, we got it. We got the radar. Is it going to play for us? Are you going to play? There it is. It seems slow. Can I speed it up? There is the Cancun radar, guys. Now, the thing is, I think what's going on here is there's more rain here. The radar only reaches so far. So it looks like the radar reaches to about here. So you're not seeing anything past here because that's the maximum reach of the radar. So there's more to see. But we can't see it. You can see it much better on the satellite. But this is the rainfall. The radar only reaches so far. The satellite is much more, you can see better the whole picture there. That's the cloud cover. That's not the precipitation. Justin says heavy rain will block radar. So you don't see anything behind really heavy red areas? That's what Justin says. Anyways. Okay, so they said it restrengthened. It's now a Cat 3. Let's keep going with the discussion here. They said the hurricane has turned westward and slowed down slightly on the south side of a ridge. Blah, 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 blah. Beryl is expected to maintain its general motion during the next 12 hours. By the way, the speed, I think, is 16 miles an hour. Yes, 16 west at 16 miles an hour. The hurricane is expected to maintain that general motion during the next 12 hours, which should cause it to make landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula very near Tulum early Friday morning. Most of the models show the center remaining over land for about 18 hours and then emerging over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico Friday night. Around that time, Beryl is expected to turn to the northwest and slow down some more as it moves along the western periphery of the weakening ridge and toward a trough over the south-central U.S. Although the models are in fair agreement, there is still some spread, some uncertainty in exactly how sharp the system turns northwestward. And to a large degree, the structure and intensity of Beryl will be a notable factor on its track over the Gulf. The new forecast track is a little slower than the previous one, following the trend in the latest models. It now seems likely that Beryl will maintain its major hurricane Category 3 strength until it reaches the coast of Mexico. Once the core moves inland, rapid weakening is expected, and Beryl is forecast to fall below hurricane strength and be a tropical storm by the time it exits the Yucatan Peninsula. Assuming the system is able to maintain some elements of an inner core, gradual re-intensification seems likely in the Gulf of Mexico before it makes its final landfall in northeastern Mexico or southern Texas. The NHC intensity forecast again lies near the high end of the models and continues to show Beryl becoming a hurricane again over the western Gulf of Mexico. Users are reminded that the average NHC track error at day 3 is around 100 miles. So it is too soon to pinpoint where the largest impacts will be. So if you go to their track and you go 3 days ahead, which would be, that's 3 days from now. Right around here is 3 days from now. On average, the track 3 days out is about 100 miles. The actual track is about 100 miles off. The forecast is about 100 miles off. So 100 miles roughly like, here to here, just eyeballing it. I can see it down here. It says 100 miles. So, like here to here. It could be off less. It could be off more than 100 miles. But on average, it's off by 100 miles. That Meskin show says, Houston, we might have a problem. Hey, you never know. Houston is in the cone of uncertainty, by the way. It's not right on the coast. So let's see. Let's go back there. Key messages, and you can see down here what they say is it'll be 115, Category 3. It'll make landfall. It'll go down to a 65 mile an hour max sustained wind tropical storm. Then it's over water. Then they have it strengthening up to 80 mile an hour Cat 1 hurricane. Maybe it could strengthen more. We don't know. As I showed you, weather expert Tomer Berg thinks it might strengthen more. Once it gets in the Gulf of Mexico, we'll have to see. Hurricane force winds, dangerous storm surge, and heavy rainfall are forecast to begin within the next few hours. Within the next few hours, across the Yucatan Peninsula and Mexico within the hurricane warning area. Residents there should shelter in place for the passage of these life-threatening conditions. There is increasing risk of strong winds, storm surge, and heavy rainfall in portions of northeastern Mexico and southern Texas. Again, northeastern Mexico and southern Texas late this weekend. Interests in these areas should closely monitor the progress of Beryl and updates to the forecast. Hurricane and tropical storm watches will likely be issued on Friday. That's tomorrow. Rip currents could cause life-threatening beach conditions. beginning late Friday and continuing through the weekend across much of the Gulf Coast. Wow. Wow. So again, there's your track right now. We'll see what happens. Hey, thanks Ronald Kane for the gift memberships. Thank you, Ronald. I appreciate that. I want to take some comments from you guys and questions. But first of all, the people in this hurricane warning area need to be doing what they are told to prepare for this. We'll take a little close up and see what kind of stuff is there where this hurricane is headed towards. But what's it going to do in here? What is it going to do in here? Apt 1278 says, this is dangerous. Be safe if you are in the path. What says SpaceX launch pad is in the crosshairs. Chris says Cozumel and Cancun will have some unhappy tourists soon. Now, right now, Cancun is about roughly 90 miles north of where the landfall is predicted. It's not supposed to get any hurricane winds, any hurricane force winds. So because of that distance, you can see the hurricane force winds are in the orange area. In the green area are 58 mile an hour and above winds. So, you know, Cancun is supposed to get some elevated winds, maybe some tropical storm force winds. Right now, they're not supposed to get hurricane conditions. Well, actually, let me say this. I take that back. The hurricane warning does stretch up here. So I should say that. The hurricane warning does stretch up here. Here's what I'll say. What I'm saying is, if this storm takes this track, that black track, you can see where the hurricane force winds are. Now, the storm could end up taking a more northerly track. So, but I don't know exactly where it's going. But if it stays on the projected track, you can see that orange area is the area of the hurricane force. That's the extent of the hurricane force winds. But maybe it'll take a more northern track. But that hurricane warning does extend all the way up there. Hey, thanks to Ronald Kane. So nice of you, Ronald. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me thank our mods, shout out our mods again. I really appreciate them being here late night with us. Also, hey, quick thanks to Relila, who gifted a subscription on Twitch, and Sparky Pilot, who gifted a subscription on Twitch. Thank you, and thanks Great Cornholio 68 for the on-screen celebration on Twitch. Thank you. Thanks to our moderators over there on Twitch, Daily Disclosure, Good Luck Duck, David Green, Hearsay, Sarah, Papa Bear, and Sharon C54. Thank you. Margaret Riley moderating over there on Facebook right now. Big thanks to Margaret. Paul Anderson as well. Thank you, Paul, for moderating. And Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X. And Cynthia Moon moderating for us over there on YouTube. And Beezy as well. Thanks so much to all of our moderators. Look at this. Look at this. So it re-strengthened. It re-strengthened to a Cat 3. The pressure had gone up to 974 today. It went back down to 964. Do they have any aircraft recon up there right now? Let's see. In storm. Hey, this is in storm. This is from tropicaltidbits.com. You can actually get the real-time data from the planes flying in there. Now this says this is pretty recent data right here. So the pressure here a couple hours ago, they got a pressure. This might have been a 964. The pressure reading it took like in the last half hour, it's below 970. It looks like maybe 966 or something. So maybe the pressure has gone up a bit. Maybe it hasn't. Also, I'm looking at the surface wind measurement. looks like it was about, what, 100 knots a couple hours ago. On the latest pass-through, it got like 95 knots. So I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist, so I can't just read off of this and say it's all I can tell you is that compared to a couple hours ago or an hour and a half ago, the pressure was a little higher and the wind was a little lower, but maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe they're not in the exact same location. So I don't know that that means it's weakened. I do know in the 11 p.m. update, they did say they expected it to maintain its strength till landfall. But who knows? Maybe it got a little bit weaker. That I don't know. But you can get this information at tropicaltidbits.com. What I'll do is I'll check. I follow some different meteorologists, and I'll see if they're saying anything about these latest observations here. I'll check that. Did any of the models have it strengthening back to Cat 3? That I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the models. But the official forecast did not have it re-strengthening. I can tell you that. Oh, let me show you a couple things here. First of all, let me show you what Michael Lowry had to say. He is a hurricane specialist. Michael Lowry said this. Michael Lowry said, one moment here. Obviously, the most immediate concern is Beryl's impact on the Yucatan Peninsula. But for South Texas, the trends have not been our friend. Latest forecast shows slows Beryl down, giving it more time to strengthen and bend northward. Noticeable shift north tonight with the models as well. He says we're 3 to 4 days out from any direct threat to South Texas when the average error is 100 to 150 miles. The angle of approach also means a small deviation in track could have outsized implications. Those with South Texas interests should monitor the forecasts closely. Also, Philip Klotzbach, who's a weather expert, said Hurricane Beryl has re-intensified to a major Category 3 hurricane with 115-mile-an-hour max winds. Beryl has now also surpassed the Trinidad hurricane of 1933 with the most accumulated cyclone energy generated by a single Atlantic storm named in June on record. This thing has been going for days and days. It's going to hit Mexico in a few hours this morning by around like 8 a.m. Eastern time, according to the forecast. I should also check, Southwest Oklahoma Sooner says you can check models on Radar Omega. I should also check on if any of the models are running right now on Tropical Tidbits. You can check forecast models on Tropical Tidbits, and are any of them running right now? Oh, GFS is running. The GFS is running right now. Let's see what the GFS predicts. This is one of the major weather models that is used by the National Hurricane Center. So, and it runs 4 times a day. So let's see, what we need is we need to go to regions, and we need to go to Southeast US. No, that's not what I want. That's not the best one to do. Regions, maybe Caribbean? Eastern US? How about Caribbean? These are really ideal. Maybe I'll just do Eastern U.S., even though it's not. I'd like to get a little more close to Western Atlantic, North Atlantic, Tropical Atlantic. Let's try this one. All right, we're going to try this one. This is from Tropical Tidbits. Okay, Tropical Tidbits. So if we do this and we play this forward, let's see. Can I play it forward now? Oh, here it is. I got it. Sorry. First, I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. Now, we're on tropicaltidbits.com. We're going to play this forward. Boom, boom. Okay, so look down there. See, it says, now this says pressure 997. I don't know what it started at on this model, though. 996, 985. But I don't know what it had, what the initial conditions were. Anyways, so what I can tell you is that is the latest run of the American model. It's running right now. And what you can see, the GFS model, on this new run, it has it making landfall in South Texas. Can you see it down there, guys? Right down here? Hey, thanks so much, Rusty Shackelford. Congratulations to our viewer, Rusty Shackelford 05 on Twitch. You win the chatter of the night with your awesome comment. Rusty writes, bro should have used Tropical Atlantic. Does he even know what he's looking at? It's tough to watch as a weather guy. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rusty Shackelford. You make my life and the life of our viewers in the chat so much better. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being in existence. And thank you for bringing so much joy to everyone around you. You are a great human being. Thank you, Rusty Shackelford 05. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay, that being said, it's literally just about to switch the view of the storm. The view there. Let's see here. Regions. I'm trying to get you guys a close-up view. The best close-up view. That's what I'm trying for. Southeast U.S. is pretty close. Oh, and by the way, I just want to point out. I got to point it out, guys. I got to point it out. Hold on. Is this what he said? Is this what he said? Let's see. He said, just to be clear, I want to go back and check this. Can I find it here? I got to check this. Didn't Rusty suggest Tropical Atlantic? Isn't that what Rusty suggested? Am I right that he suggested Tropical Atlantic? Does anybody remember? I thought he said Tropical Atlantic. Yeah, so just for the fun of it, let me show you what Tropical Atlantic is. Here's Tropical Atlantic. Oh, that really helps. Wow. Thanks, Rusty. What a great suggestion. Wow, that's real. I can really see Texas. That's a great one. Thanks. Look at the audience is saying that they're so much happier with this one. Okay, anyways, let me do one where you can actually see Texas. Let's try. This one is going to be a little, let's try this one here. This is, I don't even know if I was just using this one, but it's kind of, none of them are really ideal. Here, this is the new GFS model run from Tropical Tidbits. See right there? That is South Texas, which you can see right there on Tropical Tidbits. And that would be 2 a.m. Monday. Let's go one forward. Right there. That is 6 a.m. Sorry. That's 8 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. So the brand new GFS model. This is an important model. This is one that the National Hurricane Center will look at. The brand new model from Model Run, the brand new GFS Model Run has this storm hitting Texas. You can see where it is, actually kind of going up the coast there a little bit, because it has it right there just off the water at like 2 a.m. Eastern, and then at 8 a.m. Eastern right there. Now, I don't know if it'll be there. What I'll tell you, though, is if a bunch of these forecast models start giving predictions like this, they will probably move that forecast track north. Preto says, how accurate has this model been in the past? I can't speak to this model in hurricanes recently, but I do know it is one that they often talk about. When you read like their forecast discussion, they will talk about what the GFS says. So just to give you an idea right there, that's just out right now. Again, you can find these models on Tropical Tidbits. Are any of the other ones running right now? Beryl H. So this was the most recent run of the HWRF model on Tropical Tidbits, and I don't know when the next run is, but what you can see there is it has it. I'm not too hung up on the pressure numbers right now because I don't know what pressure they had in here to begin with, and that can be different than what it actually was at a certain point. And there's a bunch of questions about how much it'll strengthen or not. So for the moment, I'm just kind of looking at the where it puts it. But this is the latest run of the. But this is kind of an old run. This is an old run. This is from hours ago. But for what it's worth, the HWRF had it making a landfall in southern Texas as well. This is a more recent model run. This is this HMON model. And it had it looks like this one has it making landfall. Oh no, HMON model. Okay, that's the Yucatan Peninsula. And then it approaches Mexico and Texas. Sorry, it's a little confusing. I'm going to keep playing it forward here. And if you look at there, it says southern Texas. The HMON model has it making landfall in southern Texas. Oh, but this is an old, I'm sorry, this was not a new model run though. This is a pretty old, this is hours old, this one. So, you know, it's more important to get the more recent model runs like this GFS, which just spewed this out. Anyways. But again, just to let you know this again, just to go back to GFS, just to show you this again for your, so you can see it. This is the latest run, which is running now, the GFS model. And if we play it forward, what you'll see is the storm. See down there? There it is right there. I'll make it go a little more. Right there. You can see it says that's when it has it making landfall right around here in Texas, north of the border with Mexico, and that would be at 8 a.m. Monday. So we'll have to see what happens, but we'll see what the other you can think of a model as like a computer program that predicts the weather, and they run these models several times a day. I know the GFS runs 4 times a day, so they keep coming up with new predictions. So, but again, if a bunch of these models start saying it's going to make landfall in Texas, that could cause the National Hurricane Center to move that forecast track north. I don't know that they will. But this one is literally, it's literally outputting now, and we just saw what the latest model run said. Thanks, Chris, by the way. Chris says, keep an eye on the storm surge flooding if that model does push up the Texas coast. The wind shear will weaken the storm, but the longer it stays over warm water, it will partially offset the shear. That's what Chris believes. Thank you, Chris, for your support. Thank you also, PZ Papa Zulu in Megatron, for the gift memberships. I want to take some comments and questions from you guys. There is that satellite as that hurricane approaches the Yucatan Peninsula. It is a Cat 3 hurricane approaching the Yucatan Peninsula. It's supposed to make landfall roughly around 8 a.m. Eastern time. One of our viewers says, is it too early to evacuate people from drilling platforms? I'm sure they have some kind of set procedure for when they evacuate people from drilling platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. I have no idea what that procedure is and when it happens, all of that, but I'm sure they are prepared for this kind of eventuality. Thanks also to Rusty. I don't know which Rusty that is, but thanks for Rusty for the gift memberships over there on YouTube. Thank you, Rusty. I'm going to check the comments here, too. Hang on one moment. You can reach me at Lookner on X. Oh, Sherry mentioned that Reed Timmer posted that he's a storm chaser. He thinks Beryl is going to be stronger and cause big problems when it reaches the Texas coast Sunday or Monday. That's what Reed thinks. We'll have to see. Thanks, Sherry, for mentioning that. Will Weaver suggested using the Western Atlantic region. It's hard because I was trying to get one that's... see, this you can show, it's just... I was trying to get one that showed Texas a little bigger. But I see what Will mentions this one on Tropical Tidbits for the... and he says, with that one you can kind of see it as it makes progress through here. It's an interesting suggestion. Again, this is the latest run of the GFS model, which is spewing out now. Has it making landfall in southern Texas there. You live a little north of the border, actually. A little bit north of the border. Monday morning. Will says, I think that user in your chat was referring to the website tropicalatlantic.com, not the tropical Atlantic region. Well, I don't know. I'd have to go back and read it, but I don't think that changes the attitude with which it was expressed. But thank you, Will, for writing in. RLF Captures says, could it rapidly intensify in the Gulf and be a major hurricane before landfall in southern Texas? Now, I am not a weather expert. I defer to the weather experts. But as I said earlier in the broadcast, Tomer Berg is a weather expert, and he thinks that it might rapidly intensify over the Gulf. Maybe. That's not what the forecast is right now. The official forecast calls for it to get up to about to get to a category 1 before making landfall in Texas or Mexico. But you never know. He says between all the evidence so far, Beryl more resilient than modeled. North jog means left time over land and even more likely to utilize the very high sea surface temperatures and low shear environment in the Gulf. I'm struggling to see why Beryl won't quickly, if not outright, rapidly intensify in the Gulf. So I just have to defer to the experts on this. I can show you actually is, let's look on Tropical Tidbits at the this is the model guidance, model intensity guidance. So what I can tell you is, so this is a bunch of models saying how strong the hurricane will get, or how weak it'll get, how strong it'll get. And right now, what you don't see here is a bunch of lines going up into Cat 2, Cat 3. So you have a bunch, what you see here actually is a bunch of lines getting down a tropical storm after it goes over Mexico, about 24 hours. It's kind of hard for you guys to see. Let me show you it this way. It's a little smaller there, but that says 24. That's 24 hours. So that's while it's passing over Mexico. These models have it going from like a Cat 2 or a Cat 3 to tropical storm. But actually, this one says getting up to Cat 2. Some of them have it, well, some of them don't have it getting down to tropical storm. Some of them have it getting down to Cat 1. But my point is, if you just look at these various different models, what you're not seeing, at least at this point, is in a couple days after a day from now, in 3 days, which is here, you're not seeing like a lines going way up to Cat 3 or something. Now, that could change. That could change. But that's a sampling of weather models predicting what's going to happen. And, some of them say it's going to go from tropical storm to Cat 1. Some of them say it's going to never get down to tropical storm and stay at Cat 1. A couple say it'll stay at Cat 2 and not get, But I'm just telling you that's like a sampling of models. And what you're not really seeing from those models right now is, hey, it's going to get down to a tropical storm, then it's going to rapidly intensify to a Cat 3. We'll have to see what happens. You can get that at tropicaltidbits.com, where you can also get this satellite shot. Oops. Well, let me check for some other weather experts and see if they're adding anything here. Hold on a moment. Okay, this is interesting. So, guys, remember I told you about 15, 20 minutes ago, we looked at the, about 15 or 20 minutes ago, we looked on Tropical Tidbits at this data from this Hurricane Hunter aircraft that's actually in the storm now, okay? And what I told you is, I said, this data it took about in the last hour. If you look over here, you can see this was about a couple hours ago, and this was in the last hour. And it took, for example, it took a pressure reading. So that's, I think, 964, which is why, that's around 964, which you can see, the bottom of the red line there, which I'm guessing is why they said it's 964. They got that number from somewhere in the 11 o'clock update. And then what I mentioned that in the measurement they took about like 45 minutes ago or so, it looks like it was up to about 966 or 967. And I said, I don't know if that means the pressure's really gone up, but at least the measurement went up. And then I mentioned to you, so about, an hour and a half ago or 2 hours ago, they got this wind reading of 100 knots. And actually they said it's officially 100 knot. They said it's 100 knots. That's the winds, max sustained winds. More recently, about 45 minutes ago, the measurement was, it looks like about 95 knots. So 5 knots lower, about 6 miles an hour lower, or whatever it is, 6-7 miles an hour lower. And what I said to you is, I said, I don't know if that means it's weakened as a hurricane. Maybe it's weakened a little bit, and maybe the pressure's gone up a bit. Maybe the max sustained winds have gone down a bit. I don't know. There might be a reason for those differences, other than it actually got a little weaker in the last couple hours. I'm not a hurricane expert. I'm not a weather expert. I can't tell you. But Tomer Berg, who I follow, who is a weather expert, he just posted about that same thing. So Tomer said, Beryl continued to puzzle. Its intensification burst this afternoon appears to have been a rapid but short-lived one. Its minimum pressure has increased rather quickly throughout this mission, with extrapolated pressure coming in even higher in the last pass. So he's talking about how the pressure has gone up over the course of this flight that it's reading, which is one of the things I just mentioned to you. So he thinks it's gotten a bit weaker over the last several hours. Again, I'm not a weather expert. I can't tell you, but it's interesting to see him comment on that. So we'll see, maybe they'll come out with an update. I don't think I'm going to be on the air for this, but they do a 2 a.m. update Eastern time at the National Hurricane Center. Maybe at that point they'll say it's weaker. Maybe they'll say it's gone from 115 miles an hour to 110 miles an hour max sustained wind, and it's down to Cat 2, which is not a huge difference from Cat 3 to Cat 2 if you're just talking about that little jump right there. But it could be. So that's interesting that he mentioned that. Hey, thanks Vinny TV Adventures for being a member there from the Netherlands. Let me check one other thing here. Some other weather experts I follow. Gas in the Brain says, lots of live cams in Cancun on the web if anyone wants to view. And I can't show ones I don't have the rights to. But I don't know that we'll do coverage in about 7 hours of this landfall. I have no idea if we will. Oh, what I wanted to show you, though, was... so this hurricane right now, which is officially a Cat 3, is supposed to make landfall if it follows the track here. A little bit south of Cozumel. See, it says Cozumel there? So right near Tulum, about 10 miles south of Tulum. So I just wanted to show you what's there. If we go over here and we go on Google Maps, there's Cozumel here, there's Tulum. So it's right in this area. Now, in this immediate area on the coast, I don't see that much there. I mean, there's some stuff. I'm sure there might be houses there or whatever, but you're not seeing that much. But actually, if you zoom in here, you do see some, I don't know if these are resorts right on the beach. Look at all this. See this here? Some hotels here. This is right around where it's supposed to make landfall. Tulum? I might be pronouncing it wrong. Tulum, is it? I guess it's in Spanish. And so, but now look at this. See, right around where it's supposed to make landfall, a little north of there, there's plenty of this stuff on the beach here. Walter Tiger says Tulum is a major destination place. But there's a lot of, it looks like a lot of hotels in this area. Wikipedia says Tulum is a town on the Caribbean. The Google says it's a town on the Caribbean coastline of Mexico, known for its beaches and well-preserved ruins of an ancient Mayan port city. So they are, yes, and Wikipedia says it's the site of a pre-Columbian Mayan walled city. Tulum is one of the best preserved coastal Mayan sites and a popular site for tourists. So this is supposed to make landfall right near Tulum. And if it makes landfall south of Tulum, you could have Tulum getting the eye wall, getting those really strong winds in the front right quadrant and on the right side of the hurricane, and getting storm surge. What does the discussion say? And by the way, Cozumel is here, and I think, is Cozumel like a big cruise ship port or something? Cozumel. It's an I'm trying to read about it here. Some of you guys might have been there or something. A ferry pier in San Miguel is used for passenger ferries to and from Playa del Carmen, says Wikipedia, as well as for cruise ship tenders. It is Mexico's largest Caribbean island. Dabasaurus says huge cruise port. It's a tiny little island outside of Cancun, says Rock Canine. A lot of cruise ships go there, says come and take it. So Cozumel looks like it's if you look over here, there's Cozumel right there. So on this path, Cozumel could get some hurricane force winds, certainly some tropical storm force winds. If it jogs a little north, I mean, we're not talking about that far away. Looks like maybe about 20, 30 miles south on this track. But I just want to give you a sense of where we're talking about. There's Cozumel here, and there is Tulum right there. Skip White Wisner says it's a huge cruise port can accommodate up to 8 ships in port each day. Northern Grace says Cozumel is a nice tourist vacation place. So that's it right there. And let me see if I can get, I know what I'll get for you. Public advisory. Storm surge. Storm surge could raise water levels as much as 4 to 6 feet above ground level in areas of onshore winds along the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula within the hurricane warning area, and by as much as 1 to 3 feet above ground level along the west coast, the other side of the Yucatan Peninsula, in the tropical storm warning area. Also, near the coast, the surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. Beryl is expected to produce rainfall amounts of 4 to 6 inches with localized amounts of 10 inches through Friday across the Yucatan Peninsula. Hurricane conditions are expected in the hurricane warning area on the Yucatan Peninsula overnight and on Friday. So, I hope my thoughts with everybody on that coast there, but it certainly is a dangerous situation, for these areas on the coast where the hurricane is supposed to make landfall. And it does look like there's a number of vacation areas right on that coast. They could have, if they get 4 to 6 feet of storm surge there, there's a lot. I'm zooming way in here. I mean, look at this. So there's Tulum right there. So we're talking about right around here for landfall if it follows the path, But just look on the coast here. It's like once you start going up the coast, you get a lot of hotels right on the coast, basically. There could be a lot of flooding there and damage, but that's really where a lot of the buildings are in this area is going right up the coast. You can see it on Google Maps. So there's a lot there to get damaged or flooded as you just go up there, that whole area. There's Tulum, and there's the town of Tulum right there. And then going north, you have more of these. There's a golf course right there and resort. It looks like a lot of resort areas, unsurprisingly, on this beach. Just going up, and there's Cozumel right there, and there's San Miguel de Cozumel. You know, once you get a little inland, there's plenty of places here where there's not that much. This is some sort of like reserve or something like that. But, you know, you might look at this and say, oh, there's nothing there. It's all green. But zoom into the coastline and see what you see. Oh, it says Mayan Palace. Mayan Palace. Oh, what's that? Is that just like a resort? I don't know where the Mayan ruins are. Where's that at? How do I get to the... Mayan ruins? Tulum? Mayan ruins up here, maybe? Looks like they're here. I guess. I'm not sure. All over the area, says Shaggy. Anyways, that is an area which is certainly at risk from this hurricane. Although it looks like that's a little north. Well, I don't know. This says, I don't know where they all are. This says Barcelo Maya. I don't know where they all are located. They are right on the coast. Tulum Archaeological Site, says TripAdvisor. Where's that at? Oh, historical landmark. There it is. His Tulum historical landmark. Look at this. Ah, that looks like ruins, doesn't it? Right here. Where are they? Well, it's right on the beach. What happened here? There you go, from Google Maps. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. So that's not great. I mean, I don't know. My point is that these Mayan ruins, at least at the site where I just showed you, with all these ruins there, ruins of a walled ancient Mayan city located on a bluff overlooking the Caribbean Sea. That is very close to where this forecast landfall is. There's the forecast landfall right there. And what I was just showing you was right up, it's like around here or something. So that's not good. Terminator says the ruins will be ruined. I hope not. I hope not. But For the Halibut says, I'm sure they will make it through a tad bit of weather. All right, so just a little picture of what's there. So according to this forecast, this hurricane is going to be on the coast around 8 a.m. Eastern time. Who knows? Maybe in the next few hours it'll weaken more than anticipated. Craig says the ruins are well above sea level. Sandy Pool says the ruins will survive it. Bells R says these ruins have survived centuries of storms. Okay, hold on. Just checking my messages here. One moment. One moment. So we'll definitely be monitoring this over the next couple days. We'll have to see as it gets into the Gulf. As it gets into the Gulf, where is it going to go? how much it's going to strengthen. It's supposed to be a tropical storm by the time it crosses Yucatan Peninsula. But then what happens? So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. And again, as the National Hurricane Center said, it could end up being a hurricane that hits South Texas in a few days. We don't know that that'll happen. That's certainly a possibility. PZ Papa Zulu says the Tulum Mayan ruins are about 820 years old. Jared thinks it will strengthen for sure in the Gulf. The official forecast has it strengthening to a Cat 1 hurricane in the Gulf. But could it strengthen more? We'll have to see. Check one more thing here. Are there any more of these models running right now? We showed you the GFS one, just for the fun of it. CMC, no, it's not running now. Icon model. Well, we'll keep an eye on and see. What was the last Euro model run? That's kind of an old run. So there you go. There's your, again, that is your forecast track for now. Making landfall around 8 in the morning here. During the day, crossing over Yucatan Peninsula. By nighttime, comes out as a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. You can see right there it says 65 mile an hour max sustained wind, but it strengthens back up. The current forecast to 80 miles an hour. They have it on the current track making landfall in southern and northern Mexico, but there is uncertainty there as to how much, where exactly it goes. And something else to keep in mind is a little change in the track can make a big difference, because to illustrate this, let me just show you this real quick. I need to get my app up on the screen, my pen. If this thing goes, if instead of here, it goes like here, I should have used a different color. If it goes here, it's going to have a lot more time to strengthen, right? Because if it goes this way, well, that's it. It hits land. But if it takes a little turn, or even just if it goes like here, that would give it a bunch more time to strengthen. So, a bit of a turn can make a big difference. Tommy Guy says it could spin more northerly after the first landmass. Okay. Let me see if I have any more updates on this, but we'll have to see what happens. And in the near term, obviously, there's concern down here on the eastern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Chris says, if that storm goes towards Houston, that would be bad. Oh, Reuters put up some webcams? They did. Yeah. We're not going to see landfall right now. It's not making landfall right now. I can actually thank you. Reuters just put up some cameras from Mexico. I'll just show you one right now. Thanks for letting me know. I didn't even realize they had put it up there. Hang on. Hang on, folks. Hang on, folks. I don't even know where this oops. I don't even know where this webcam is from. It's from Cancun. Oh, this camera's from Cancun. That's a little far away. Cancun is like 90 miles northeast northeast of where it's supposed to make landfall. So that's Cancun, which is up. Just show you here. You know, Cancun is up here. Oops, you can't see what I'm looking at. Cancun is up here. So that webcam would not have the brunt of it if it takes a track like this. So I mean, I have it. I have access to it through Reuters, but you know. No time for this today says they'll still get weather. Dr. McRib says, unfortunately, increasing sea temps are the new norm. All right, guys. Well, look, I think what I'm going to do is going to be keeping an eye on this. For right now, I don't have much more to say on this right now. Giving you this update. Will it still be a Category 3 in 7-8 hours when it makes landfall? I don't know. It might have actually gone back down to Category 2 at this point. I don't know. Well, they'll update in like an hour and 10 minutes. But it's going to be a hurricane when it makes landfall, and then it's supposed to be a tropical storm when it comes out here. And then what happens when it gets into here? We'll have to just wait and see. As I mentioned, the latest GFS model had it making landfall somewhere around here in Texas. So we're going to have to keep an eye out and see. All right. Well, I don't know if I'll have coverage in the morning of this. I'll have to see. But if I don't, I very well I'll definitely be keeping an eye on things, and also I'll certainly be keeping an eye on things when it's in the Gulf of Mexico as well. So we might have more videos on this, but wanted to come on the air tonight and give you an update about this storm. So thoughts with everybody in the Yucatan Peninsula. I hope for them it somehow gets weaker in the next few hours. Maybe it'll start weakening again. That would be good. And let's hope that it doesn't really strengthen much in the Gulf. But we'll keep you posted. All right. I really appreciate you guys joining the stream. Thanks for being here so much. This is Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. So subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV. And by the way, if you want to check out the real-time satellite, go to Tropical Tidbits. It's a great website, tropicaltidbits.com. You can get the satellite shot there. You can get the aircraft recon information there. You can get the spaghetti diagrams there. Check out. You can look at weather models there. Check out tropicaltidbits.com. I really appreciate them letting me show their site, and Levi over there, weather expert Levi Cowan, and. But check out Tropical Tidbits site. It's great. So you can go there right now and look at it. Subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV, and I will post updates on my X account while I'm not on the air. That is at Lookner on X. You can follow me there for breaking news updates at Lookner on X. And remember to turn on notifications. So we have a notifications system that we have set up, which is free, that you can sign up for, and you'll get sent a notification whenever we go live. I never really know in advance, almost never know in advance when we're going live, because it just depends on when the breaking news happens. But you can get a notification sent to you right when we go live, every single time, or right before we go live. So sign up for the free notifications. We do it through Discord. The mods will post the link in the chat. And you can find it on the YouTube and Facebook description for this video as well. Sign up for the notifications. Huge thanks to our moderators, by the way. Oh, and a quick thanks to Billy Joe Drage. She says, the waiting game, nothing but terrifying. Thanks for the update. Hey, thanks, Billy Joe from Australia. That's so nice of you, Billy Joe. Thank you. Very kind of Billy Joe. Big thanks to our moderators. We've been on the air a lot lately, and the moderators are always there. They are... and really quick, I'll show you this shot from Cancun again. Here's the Cancun live cam. There it is. There's the Cancun live cam. Again, it's supposed to make landfall about 90 miles south of Cancun. But there's the Cancun live cam. I don't know what it would normally look like right now. Maybe they'll get storm surge in Cancun. I don't know. But that is via Reuters. It's from Webcams Mexico, but it's via Reuters. I get it from Reuters. Webcams de Mexico via Reuters. Oh, thanks to our moderators. I really appreciate you being in the chats. They are the reason that we can even have chat rooms. So shout out to all of our moderators. Cynthia Moon and BZ have been there on YouTube. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And also over there on Twitch, Daily Disclosure, David Green, Good Luck Duck, Sarah, Papa Bear, Sharon C54. Thank you. On Facebook, Margaret Riley. Thanks so much for moderating, Margaret. Really appreciate it. And Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X. And thanks to everybody who donated. That is super nice of you guys. You are the ones who keep this channel on the air. I really, really appreciate it. And if you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But thanks so much for your support. Also, we have... Hang on one second here. We also have a Discord chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. You can find that chat at the same link as the notifications. Check that out if you like. A lot of our viewers like doing that. Big thanks to our Discord mods, by the way. Thanks, Discord mods. And if anybody's interested in being a volunteer moderator, that would be awesome. Sometimes there's a wait list, but you can ask our mods for more info about that. Let's see. I also want to say, real quick, if you do subscribe on YouTube, there's this weird thing. If you want to turn on the YouTube notifications, you got to do this thing where you click the notifications bell and choose all notifications, which I know might seem weird, but there's a bell. Here's this. Click the bell and choose all notifications. Also, quick reminder, I do have a personal channel where I do some non-news live streaming sometimes. That is called Lookner on YouTube and Looknerd with a D on Twitch. So feel free to check that out as well. And I want to thank our Twitch subscribers. Thanks so much for supporting the channel on Twitch, like Shaggy and Drunk Can't Cook and Wall Street. Thanks to all of our subscribers over there. Really appreciate it. Sparky Pilot, Relila, Rogan Mitch, Jack's Animals. Thank you. Also, our Facebook subscribers, Eve Richards, Billy Joe Drage, Jane Summers, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body. All of our subscribers here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And over there on YouTube, our members like Russell Adam B. Mensan, Barbs, The Lucky Minute, Randy J., Kimberly Barr, Chris N., Adventurer, PZ Papa Zulu, Jelly Plane, PZ Wheats, Hamba Semesta, Evie Shore, Mark Clayton, Sabin Nation, Debbie Campbell, T. Lunali Syria, Marcel Kern, William Cromer, CAC 813, LGTV 70, thanks for being there, members on YouTube. Ryan the Gamer, Paul Tissue, Lunali Syria, Dr. McRib, Ryan Minot, Donna Smith, PZ Papa Zulu, Debbie Campbell, Centaurus 98, Barbs, and Darian Monomer, Max Rem, Jorge Valdez. Thank you to all of our members, Sandy Poole. And thanks to our other viewers like Yolan Gingras, Ann PK, Tommy Guy, Paul Hoppy, all of our viewers. I appreciate you being here. Bill Huang and Ann Carolyn and others. All right, so that is it for now. We'll see what happens. In the morning, this hurricane is supposed to make landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, roughly 90 miles southwest, roughly of Cancun, near How do you say the name of that town? I got to look it up again. We talked about it earlier. Tulum. So thinking of people on the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, and hopefully they stay safe there. And we will keep an eye also on what happens to this storm when it gets into the Gulf. It's supposed to be a tropical storm once it crosses over Mexico, but it's supposed to strengthen again in the Gulf. Will it end up in Texas? Will it be a hurricane making landfall in Texas or southern Mexico? We'll have to see. But that is it for right now. Thank you so much for joining us for this weather update, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.